Hi everyone, this is Sheheryar Munawar, and my film Parey Hut Love comes out on the 8th of August in cinemas across the world. Please come out and watch it. You're watching me on DESIblitz right now.
DESIblitz.com.
Sheheryar, tell us a bit about your character, which also, I believe, is Sheheryar
Yes.
in the film.
100 points for creativity.
Yeah, so tell us a bit about your character, please.
So you've essentially asked me two different questions. One is why I'm Sheheryar in the film, and one about my character. So Sheheryar in the film is a struggling actor. He's a bit of a daydreamer in his own world. He has later in the film you find out he's got massive baggage with his backstory in terms of his family. Comes from a broken home, and right now his mother is living with his stepfather, and he's left that house and he lives with his friends in a shanty locality because he wants to pursue his dream of becoming a film actor. And that's where the film starts off from. And due to the kind of backstory that he has, he's a commitment phobe, and he doesn't believe in the concept of marriage. And if you've seen the trailer, that's what he says, that why is this nation obsessed with marriage? And his other issues are that he likes to sort of run away from issues and sweep them under the rug. And over the journey of the film, he has to sort of learn how to face his issues in life, sort of man up. Along the way, what helps him do that is that he falls in love with this beautiful lady being played by Miley. And that's where the problem starts, because then he has a bit of a dilemma, because here he's in love with this beautiful lady, and then he also has his commitment issues to face. And so that's essentially the character. He's a bit of a charmer, but the way that we've tackled this is that he's not the quintessential Bollywood or Lollywood charmer who would write his phone number and throw it at a girl. He's more of a reserved, kind of shy kind of person who kind of believes in charming the lady and letting them come to him. And so that's Sheheryar. He's any other millennial, I'd say. Oh, and why is he called Sheheryar is an interesting story as well, because as an actor, the biggest fear that you have is showing yourself. It's very easy to hide behind a character, which I've been doing in my previous work, and I always like building a character rather than playing myself. And with this time, Asim's request was that I want a lot of yourself, your personality coming into this. And about third or fourth day into rehearsals, he said, Sheheryar, I'm thinking, how about we change the name from Shaban to Sheheryar? So that was a bit of a trick that he did, and henceforth we started referring to me as Sheheryar in the film.
But how different is the real Sheheryar off screen? Because when I think of the name Sheheryar, I think of Deshat and some heaviness. And, I don't know, some big Vadera from Sindh or something. How are you off screen?
Not at all. We've been chit-chatting before this. I'd like to believe I'm very easygoing, but I even in the film, I feel there are a lot of similarities between myself and this character, which is what I was referring to earlier, that the biggest fear that an actor has to show themselves, and I had to show a lot of myself to this character. I think growing up, I faced the same issues. I'm a commitment phobe myself, and I've always had issues with addressing fears or issues in life, and I always kind of like glide by them. That's something that I had to overcome myself when I got into professional life, and so I could very well relate to how I did that. So therefore, there'll be a lot of things that you will find common between the real Sheheryar and the real Sheheryar in terms of the mannerism and a lot of things.
How have you found working with the lead actress Maya? Because Maya shared with us that prior to working with this film, that she felt कि आप थोड़े से egoistic हैं. तो आपने भी कुछ सोचा था about, or did you have any preconceived notion about Maya?
Okay, so before we started working, we'd had two brief encounters where we were both we were doing cover shoots. It was a cover. Can I name the magazine? So we first time we met, it was Hello Pakistan. We were on the cover together, and this is the first time we'd met. I'd known about Maya. Maya's a big name in Pakistan, so I'd known about Maya, but this is the first time that we'd met. And I'm a bit of a clown on set. I like to joke around and have fun with my colleagues. And I remember that day she was in a bit of a mood. So my defense mechanism is always humor. So I tried to do that, and it didn't go down the right way. And I remember she kind of snubbed me, and then so I was a little intimidated post that, and I stayed quiet during the entire shoot. And then about a year on, the production company, Asim and myself, she did an ad with us, which was for Coca-Cola, and I wasn't on that shoot, but I'd seen the rushes and the footage, and I said, wow, she's really come a long way, and she's looking beautiful, she's looking like a star, she's acting like a star that she is. And so I was in a bit of awe of her. And then we met again at a Lux shoot. So she was the Lux girl and I was the Lux boy, if there is such a thing. I was supposed to admire her and smell her as she passes by. And so when we did that, I stayed to the monitor when it was time for me to shoot, and I was I was very reserved, because I'd remembered 2 years back our interaction. And so she walked up to me and she said, Sheheryar, what's wrong? You're very serious today. I said, really? And she's like, what is it? Why aren't you talking? I said, no, it's my character. She's like, oh, come on, you only have 4 shots in this commercial. What are you talking about your character? So then she kind of loosened me up that day, and then so we kind of had a good interaction that time, but we still weren't talking as much. And then over the course of the next year, we would send each other a message or two talking about how her work was coming along, how my work was coming along, just complimenting each other on our work. And then when this film happened, for some reason that interaction was stuck in my mind. And when Asim mentioned being the producer, I was also like, I think, Asim, that's a wonderful idea. Let's get Maya on board. So getting into rehearsals, I was really scared, but then I was also the producer, also the lead actor. I had to be the hero as well. So I was being reserved again. But the interesting thing is that Asim started us off not with scene rehearsals, but dance rehearsals, because it's a musical in a way, Parey Hut Love. So he said, why don't you guys start off with your dance rehearsals? And that was a good way to kind of break the ice. And then we realized that we started we're both Leos, so that way I guess I wouldn't say egos, but I guess Leos are very proud generally. But then we kind of warmed up towards each other, and over the course of the film, when we started shooting the first scene, we were very competitive, and I really liked that. I liked being competitive because I feel like generally across the promotions we've been getting this one compliment. This is everyone's saying you guys have such wonderful chemistry on screen, and that is there because we were very competitive when we were shooting. If she would raise the bar, I would come back, and then what eventually ended up happening is that we were bouncing off each other. And by the 3rd, 4th day, I knew where she was taking a scene and she knew where I was taking it, and so we allowed each other space to improvise and sort of ad-lib in certain places, much to Asim's annoyance and dismay. He would stop us at while. But then over the course of this entire year, I've grown to we've become very close and become very good friends now. So I think what I did realize was that this woman is a very, very disciplined person. We're very different schools of thought in terms of our acting method. I like to sort of get in my character, and then if I'm in a sad scene, I'll stay in that mood the whole day. I won't talk to people. If I'm in an angry mood, if it's a happy scene, no matter what happens, I'll whatever ducks back, I'd let it go. But she, on the other hand, she's more like, let's rehearse it, let's read it once, and let's go into it. But I don't like reading right before the scene, so we had issues with that as well. But what happened was that over the course of the entire film, I learned quite a bit from her, and what I also learned from her was to be able to be strong. She's a very, very strong girl, with I don't know if you know about how she's her entire journey, how she's gotten here, and I'm in awe of her. Generally I'm a huge fan of strong women. I come from a family where we have strong women, so as I got to know her and I understood the backstory, 'cause with everyone there's a backstory. When I understood the backstory, and so hats off to her.
Leading up to the film's release, what kind of emotions do you go through? Are you as excited and entertained by the release, or are you going to be tense? Being the producer of the film also, I can see some cigarettes there. Cigarette per cigarette.
It's a disgusting habit, Faisal. It's a disgusting habit. That's what the first thing I said to you. I'd actually quit. I'd quit for 6 months, and then post-production started again. But yeah, it's very stressful. But it's like bittersweet, I'd say. Bitter in the sense that things are coming to an end, and we've sort of become a family along the way, and I'm a little upset about the whole idea of us kind of splitting up. But that just goes to show that how much fun we had, because with this film we were shooting in 6 different locations, so we were always traveling. So for 6 months we were traveling together, location to location to location. And because we were trying to target the right weather, we weren't taking many breaks. So we essentially became a family together. And I've grown to love all of these people. Also, as a producer, you sort of become a father figure, right? Because everybody comes to you with their problems. And so now I'm if there's a picture or something or the other, I'll pick up the phone and be like, what are you doing? Why is this happening? Sometimes I'll get more anal about it. But so what's helped me deal with my stress is this support system that I've gotten from all of these people, whether it's Ahmed, who will pick up the phone, anything that happens, he reads the news or something happens, he calls me, he says, bro, everything okay? I was like, yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. And from Maya, from now that we're promoting, she'll be worried about everyone, like in terms of has everyone had food. She's that sort, so she'll be the one who, so we've all assumed certain roles. So what happens is that because there's so much love and support all around, there's not much fear right now. I'm not thinking beyond this because I'm afraid of thinking beyond this, because I know once this ends we'll all sort of go into our next projects. So that's what's helping me deal with the stress. As an actor, always whenever you're putting your work out, you're putting your soul out for the entire world to comment on, and it's like an unsigned contract that you've done, that whenever you put out your work, people are allowed to comment on it. So that's always there, that little bit of jitter is always there. But what's really helped me with that is the fact that my confidence in Asim as a director, I started my career as an assistant director with him. I grew within his organization. I then started producing ads for him, and then after that I started directing under his company. I directed commercials under his company, and then I produced Home and Jahaan, and then we sort of formed Vision Factory Films together, and we produced Home and Jahaan. So there's a whole lot of love and respect I have for that man, and he's more like, he's like this support system, and he's like this person who towers upon you. So a lot of times where I'm being this broad-chested kind of producer hero going around saying, oh, it's all good, guys, and when I'm in stress, I always look to him. So he's sort of helped me deal with that bit of nervousness as an actor, because I know for a fact that what he'll get out of me will be the best that I can give.
It's good to hear that 2 fire signs ignited each other. Three. Okay.
Asim's also Leo.
Okay, excellent. 3 then. In that case, to bring the best out of you two, especially with Asim directing the film. Can you tell us a little bit more about your bird phobia on set?
She told you?
मुझे किसी चीनी ने बताया है कि आप किसी चिल्ली से डरते हैं. किसी birdie ने मुझे बताया है.
Little birdie told you?
I mean,
I have a feeling I know this little birdie.
What happened?
Okay, it's a little embarrassing, but
बता दें, चिड़िया से डरते हैं आप?
मेरी 2-3 डिफरेंट किस्म के फोबियाज हैं. एक मैच बॉक्सेस से डर लगता है मुझे, एंड एक रबर बैंड से डर लगता है मुझे, और एक बर्ड से डर लगता है मुझे. बहुत अजीब बात है, अब आपने सुन ली, मैंने पहले कभी किसी को नहीं बताई, बट आई गेस वी ऑल हैव अ लिटिल quirks, so that's. Now I remember the scene that in the song Bhekana, if you've seen, she's supposed to come running to me, and I'm supposed to be that knight in shining armor, and lo and behold, the knight in shining armor himself is scared of birds. So walking into it, now I couldn't let her know this. So walking into the scene, and I'm just telling myself, it's just a scene, it's just a scene, it's just a scene. Breathe in, breathe out, and we're gonna take it like that. And then I did that, and then when the scene was over, that's when Asim came up and he said, wow, you really pulled that through. Because this one time, what Asim knows is that this one time we were shooting at a stadium, and I remember running up to the stadium, and this bird came and hit me on the head, all of a sudden, and I passed out. So everybody knew the story about me, and after the scene was over, everybody started clapping, my team. and said, "Wow, how did you do this?" And that's how Maya found out that I was terrified during that scene. But I'll tell you another interesting thing. She herself is scared of quite a few. She's got her own few phobias. This one time we were shooting in Kashmir, and Kashmir Fort was we were sitting right at the ledge, and you could there was a drop in front of us. It had to be at least 500 feet, maybe even more. I'm trying not to exaggerate, but maybe even more. And we sit there, and this scene is when my character sits and gives a long monologue. This is my catharsis, and I'm sitting there, and I'm about to start. And she right before Asim says action, she whispers in my ear. She says, Sheheryar, I don't think I can go on. I said, why? She says, I'm scared of heights. And this whole scene, while I'm giving this whole long monologue, she's squeezing my hand like anything. And here she's squeezing my hand. I'm like, and I'm supposed to be so that was an interesting encounter as well. So yeah, so that's what happened. So it was tit for tat. It was Maya won, Sheheryar won.
But was it just your phobia? Is it where you are terrified, या कभी कभार उलझन या चींची आती है?
नहीं, मैच बॉक्सेस से और रबर बैंड से चींची आती है, जैसे आपने बोला. बर्ड से मुझे डर लगता है. No, you know, I'm not scared of anything else, like reptiles, snakes, anything else. But birds, for some reason, I don't know, they freak me out. It's just those eyes, those beady eyes, and then, anyway.
Leading up to the answer, and I want you to respond. हो बेवफा से तो सिगरेट भी अच्छा, जो दिल को जलाता है मगर लब पर तो आता है. What's your answer to that?
My answer to that is बेवफाई में भी बहुत मज़ा होता है. अगर आपने बेवफाई नहीं चखी तो फिर मज़ा ही नहीं किया.
From one fire sign to another. Sheheryar, it's been a privilege talking to you. We wish you the very best for Parey Hut Love and your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Faisal. It was such a pleasure. Thank you all. Thank you, all of you.